Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. How are you today? I don't I don't know if I've done a reading for you before. I do so many, but I like to explain real quick kind of how this works, give you an idea. I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me. They also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. Try to describe the picture the best I can. They never waste a message. They don't waste their energy. So if something doesn't make sense now, just keep it in mind because you'll either remember it later, see it later, or somebody else will validate it for you later. Go, I know what he's talking about. They always make me itch. They make me itch from here up for when they get too close. I don't know why. Look like I have head lice or something. Sorry. Anyway, this is not an exact science. Sometimes you have to stretch it outside the box a little bit. He'll give me just enough that hopefully you will understand what he's talking about. Sometimes they just throw out a word. Sometimes they say big long sentences. It's his ball game. It's totally up to him. Let him do whatever he wants within reason. No funny business. So we're going to talk to your dad, Ronald, today. He's talking about he wants me to call him Ron. He wants to be more casual. He wants I have a feeling maybe he didn't like the name Ron. Maybe he didn't like people calling him Ron, but he feels more comfy, more casual. He says Grandma's here, and it's almost like he wants to cry because he's so overwhelmed with love for this grandma. He's so happy he's with her. I believe it's his grandma. Now, whether you would have known her, because that'd be kind of stretching it up. It could be your grandma, so I'm gonna hate to make it vague, but it could be. But he says grandma like it's his grandma. And was she more like a mother to him? Maybe closer than a regular grandma, so that maybe will help you decide. He's not, so far I can't see her. So hopefully you'll know which grandma this is, because there's always a reason for what he brings someone through or lets you know. So the grandma he was extremely close to. So loved her. And even if you didn't personally know her, you would have heard him talk about her. Maybe there was a picture of her in his house. He says somebody was named after her, so it could have been her first, last name, or middle name, whatever. Somebody along the line was named after her. So anyway, he's making a big point of this. He wants you to know that he's with her. And he's so extremely happy about it. It's so peaceful about it. And he said he wanted to tell you that before he tells you, yes, he was very scared when he left, as we all will be. He was scared towards the end. The unknown is very scary. But he said there's nothing to be afraid of. There was nothing to be afraid of. But he knew Grandma was there with him right before he left. And if you know anybody that works in a nursing home, that's usually where you see it. They'll tell you that people right before they pass start talking about their loved ones like they can see them in the room with them because they can. Their loved ones come to give him great peace, and he wants you to know. He feels like you need to know that he had great peace before he left, even though he was scared, because he knew she was there. Out of everybody, he wanted her. He said, I did find great comfort. So, know when we get rid of these heavy bodies here, we don't have any more pain because there's nothing to feel pain. We don't need this vessel anymore. He said he feels like you need to know that. Okay, so he says if you haven't already, but I feel like you have, you just didn't know it. Anyway, if you haven't already, you will. Hear the sound, and I noticed he had a oxygen hose on. You will hear the sound of breathing through that oxygen hose, that weird sound that it makes when you have to have that on. And you can be in your car, you can be outside, you can be in Walmart, it doesn't matter where you're at, and you hear that. Or you could see somebody that resembles your dad in a movie or something with the oxygen on. If that sign upsets you, tell him. I promise you 1,000%, he can hear you, he can see you. Tell him that that sign upsets you and you'd rather have a nicer one. He's talking about sunshine and roses, but I don't think that's a sign. Not sure, unless maybe you just mentioned you were ready for some sunshine and roses, ready for spring to see those. Okay, he's, oh boy, this path looks like mine. He's showing me your path, and you took this really big loop, but you're coming back to get on your path. Took this, I call it detours. I call it the scenic route. You ought to see mine. I got a whoop-de-doo here and here and here and here. But just know when you make these whoop-de-doos off your path, it won't feel right in your gut. Trust your gut, but know that there's lessons to be learned on the scenic route. So he says you took a really big one, and it was after somebody died. I don't know if it was after he died or somebody else really close to you. You took a big whoop off your path. He says he's showing like you're this freaking close to getting back on it. And he says once you hit that road, you're gonna be flying. He shows you going zoom straight ahead. He says you're so close. So whatever you've been doing to get back on your path, even though you may not realize it in your head consciously, your gut, your soul, your spirit will. Just like something yesterday popped up, and I thought I would never thought this was going to happen, and I went, "Oh my gosh!" because I felt it. I felt it. It felt good. I go, "Yes, I'm going to go do that." It's not for a couple months, but I thought, "Yes, another step back on my path." Hopefully, we all we all mess up. Okay. Well, I don't know if anybody has these pans anymore. I usually try to describe it. It's the ones, oh, this is back in my day. I don't think anybody does it anymore. Like a skillet, but it had the copper on the bottom. I call it copper top, but it's the bottom of it, the part you put on the stove. And he's taking a big spoon and he's hitting it. So he's doing it with great force, but know that a lot of times when they do that, it doesn't mean you're going to hear it really loud. It just means they're trying really loud to do it, or really hard to do it. So you'll hear it. So imagine if maybe you might have to Google one of these old pans. Like I said, I haven't seen any. Maybe you have one. Imagine what it would sound like if a spoon hit it, but imagine it a little softer. And again, you can hear it anywhere, outside, friend's house, in the store, doesn't matter. So, and whenever he leaves you a sign, validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, and ask him to bring you more. It helps them when they know that you realize, oh, they got it. It's a sign from me. And it's them trying to say, I'm here and I love you. So he says, whenever he brings this grandma, whoever he's talking about, with him, he will get like this sweet, flowery smell, like lilacs, or, and this is almost Most people just get like a little whiff of it. This is almost like it's encompassing my head. Like it's not super strong. It's just like full. I don't know what word to use for it. So you shouldn't be able to miss that. Every so often I wake up and I smell chocolate chip cookies and I still don't know who it is. I just open my eyes and I smell them. It's the smells and the sounds and the electronics are the easiest thing for them to, I hate to use the word manipulate, but it's easy for them to do with their energy. Okay, he's mentioning somebody around you, associated with you, related to you, not sure. And we stink at names. I used to get them all exact. I don't know why we don't anymore. And it just make it worse every time I say that. But anyway, it's like a SH name, like a Cheryl or a Sherry or something like that. He's not saying why he's bringing that name up. Like I said, sometimes they just throw a word out. Yeah, I'm trying to get him to tell me why. Yeah, it's his show. Okay, he tells me to tell you that he loves you, and he walks up behind me and he throws his arms like around my neck. No, do it again. Almost tightly, but it's around my neck. Did he have trouble using his hands before he left? Or maybe didn't have any strength in his hands or something? Making me feel like his hands are weak, so he's using his actual arms to just kind of go around my neck. You should feel this. It should feel, everybody feels the energy different. I'm not sure how you're going to feel it. You might feel a little squeezing. You might feel a little, um, just a little pressure. It could be warmth. It could be tingling. And I think most people feel it like a balloon on their back. It's just that little change in pressure kind of pushing on, because he's pushing pretty good right now on my back. You should feel his breath on the back of your head. He's not low enough to be on your neck. He's like breathing kind of heavy on the back of my hair. This hair, I can feel it if it moves. My spiky hairspray stuff. So it'll probably be very slight. You may have already felt it before, just didn't know what it was. So again, validating, acknowledging, telling you love him, and asking to bring you more of that. He says sometimes you have a nightmare, something about him leaving, something about him passing. He feels like it's more of a fear in you about what he was going through, whether he was scared, whether he hurt, that kind of thing. And of course, the deep sense of loss that we all have when we lose a loved one. But it's more about the other. He says you have even woken up at night in a sweat. Maybe you didn't even remember what you were dreaming about, but that was it. You may not have been drenched in sweat, but it was kind of like a nightmare. He says you need to know that I'm okay. You need to know that I'm surrounded by love. You need to know that I didn't want to stay here in the condition I was in. It was time to go. He said something about wicked world, and that would be your thoughts. When we get up there, we don't think like that anymore. We don't have any of those heavy negative feelings. We don't need them. We have no use for them up there. The fear and the hate and the anger. He says, so no, I don't feel any of that now, and I don't want you to feel that here. He says, the more you can learn to let go of those types of feeling, the happier you will be, and the faster you will get past that last little and get right on your path where you're going to feel light and bright and loved. He's showing like there's some people around you and you need to go. He's going like it's hard to do with the wall here in my way. Like push, get back, get back, get back, get back. I don't know if you've got some people smothering you or people just always pulling on your energy. He says they need to step back a little bit. Need to step back. And so evidently there's more than one. There's several. Just step back, let me breathe. They're like suffocating you. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. I need to breathe. And that's not a bad thing if you do that. I'll sometimes put up a shield between me and one of my loved ones. It's like your energy needs to stay over there for a little while. I can't absorb that. I can't have it pushing on me. I need to have my own energy, my own space. And that's kind of what he's trying to get at. They need to back up enough so you can breathe. They don't really physically have to back up. Just, I don't know how to explain it if you don't know anything about energy work. See, I just took a deep breath because I just did that for myself too. Don't be afraid to try something new. And then he didn't say what it was. He's being a little vague on a lot of things. So I hope he's hitting on enough of it. He says you'll catch it. He says you'll catch it. With that, he's going to leave. He says, know that I am always with you, and no, not in a creepy way. And he's kind of giggling. It's like, he says, I'm not stalking you. But he is around a lot. And asking. Sometimes they think they're going to scare you or something, and they hang back. If you want him to come forward, just ask him. He can hear you. I promise you, he can hear you. Just ask him. Ask him to step forward. Ask him to hug you from behind. Ask him to bang on that pot. And if you know who this great grandma is, ask her to step forward too. He wouldn't have brought her forward if it was a bad thing. Okay, much love to you, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. See you later.